Yeah, I've had just some like, so my journey with like faith has been interesting over all these years because I've been very like honest and vulnerable about that stuff, which makes some people super uncomfortable and other people like, thank God someone else is being
I'm
honest.
not
Right?
alone.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right.
yes.
So that's why I think some of my music is a little, it does different things for different people. But one of the things I noticed like just over the years is like I would always beat myself up if I didn't read Bible. You know, like every single day I'd be like, I'm an awful Christian. You know, I was just like, and so I like would almost force myself every single day to have these rhythms to do this stuff. And I still think those are really good. Like there's still fruitful stuff because I have things memorized. I like have little addresses in the Bible, like, oh, I know these things, say these things, and kind of how the story connects because of that. But some of the most profound moments I've had with God have been in nature. Like, and it sounds very funny. Like when I say it, it just sounds nuts, but like, I've had these profound experiences looking at trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does
like
not sound
looking at-
crazy.
Well, you know,
I mean,
it's
it may
like the
sound it,
expression
but
tree huggers
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But now I've been like, I remember seeing, I was in Seattle. We were working on an album on Bainbridge Island, and I found like an apple tree that was out in front of the studio, the Airbnb we were renting. And I was having like a meltdown, like an existential paradigm shift. Like, oh my God, nature is literally giving us sustenance. You know, and I was like thinking, because I was normally used to going and buying stuff from the grocery store. But I was like, wait, the whole ecosystem that God made already has like sustenance built in, and it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Like
Seriously.
apples are so good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then there was like berries and I was just thinking to myself, like, man, God created this ecosystem and I belong as a part of it. And it was a very profound experience for me. And things like that, or like going to the ocean, surfing for the first time. And I'm having these downloads, and as I'm sharing it with my friends, they're like, oh, you experience God most through nature.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
that
And
makes sense.
because not a lot of people have ever even said that that's a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, you only experience God through the Bible and prayer.
Yep.
Oh, that's it.
Yep.
And anything else is kind of frou-frou. And it was like, dude, that's just not true.
Yeah.
We don't have
Thoroughly
people encourage-
unbiblical too.
Right, right.
Like take away the nature imagery from the Psalms, you don't have a lot left.
Yep.
There's deer giving birth,
Yep.
fires being divided,
Mountains.
cedars of Lebanon.
Yep.
And in honestly, in heaven, the mountains are going to clap their hands, trees will clap their hands, the mountains will sing. So I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of it in our future, not just in our past.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that.
No, it's been that's a cool thing that I've been finding out about myself.
Yeah.
And so being out here for this, it was incredible. I'm like, wait, great. I'm gonna do a show and I'm gonna like help be a part of this event. Then I'm gonna stay for a day and get to experience.
I
some
love that
stuff,
you
so-
ded that. I think it's good for your soul too, not just
Yeah.
a rush from airport to hotel to airport to
Yeah.
thing, you know?
Yeah.
Tagging those days on to decompress is so good.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
The other thing I was going to ask you involved, and I'm just completely spacing it. Oh, I was going to tell you before I asked you, as you're singing tonight
Yeah.
and performing, there's going to be a setting sun that's still visible in the sky. You know, so
Yeah,
I know you'll
that's
be,
cool.
you know, watching the students and remembering your things and all that, but
Yeah.
don't forget to peek up because
Oh,
to your
yeah.
right, there's going to be setting sun. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
Yeah. I start weeping on stage. Like, what's wrong with this guy? Look at the sunset.
involuntarily,
yeah.
fetal
No.
position.
Yeah, that's
under
right.
the drum risers.
But it's so, I mean, that's so Psalm, like you said, it's so Psalm
Mhm.
8, even particularly like when I consider the heavens and the stars that
Yes.
you made
Yep.
and who is man that you're mindful of him. Like it's just, it reminds you of how big God is and
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
little
yeah.
you are, but then how much God loves
Well, and as we've
you.
prepared this conference, we've thought a
Yeah.
lot about how many of Jesus' sermons were indoors versus outdoors. He
Aw.
preached
yeah, yeah.
way more outside than inside.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Sea of
that, like, that's how
Galilee,
he was
yeah.
able to
Mhm.
point to stuff, you know, it's like, oh, look at the grapevine and look at, you know, the sheep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
He's just walking around the tares and the wheat. It wasn't like he thought of that abstractly. He was
Right,
pointing
right.
to tares and the wheat,
right.
you know?
Like, let me give you an example that you understand. You can
He
see
pulls
that we all.
this wheat
yeah.
up, you know?
Yes,
So